You asked for it, so we are testing it. This is the 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander 2.5 SEL with the Super all-wheel control, all-wheel drive system. And yeah, you might notice I am wearing a big, heavy Mitsubishi coat because it is cold here in the Pacific Northwest. I got this filming with the race team, Mitsubishi's race team, at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb like 15 years ago or something like that. So no, just because I have a Mitsubishi coat does not mean these guys are getting a free pass. We're gonna be just as cruel to this car as we are to all of them. The Outlander SEL we have here is an upper mid trim with a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, a large navigation screen, 3-zone climate controls, leather seats with heat and ventilation, as well as a panoramic moonroof. Price as you see it here with optional moonstone gray paint, a 12-speaker Yamaha sound system, quilted door inserts, a heads-up display, video mirror, and the launch accessory package, $45,930 US, including destination. That price just happens to be within $200 of the Subaru Outback Touring we just tested. Just throwing it out there. If you want to make a comparison, you know, good old Subaru versus Mitsubishi rivalry, maybe keep that one in the back of your head while we do this test. In terms of dimensions, the Outlander is 185.8 inches in length, 74.7 inches wide, and 68.8 inches tall. That means it's not quite as long as the new Subaru Outback, it's a little bit wider, and it's definitely a little taller. The Outlander also has 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which is good for the class. Under the hood is a 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder engine with direct injection. This produces a peak 181 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a continuously variable transmission that can emulate an 8-speed setup. Power goes to all 4 wheels through the optional all-wheel drive system. Is it fast? Let's see. Right, let's do this. Punch it! I mean, it sounds like it's doing a lot of work, but yeah, it doesn't really feel like it. Let's see what this little 2.5-liter 4-cylinder is capable of. I'm going to switch the drive mode into Tarmac, which is the most aggressive mode it has. That'll optimize both traction control as well as the all-wheel drive system for performance. I'm going to line up here where we line up with everything, and this is an unscientific test. It'll give us a guideline as to how this vehicle compares versus every other vehicle we've tested on this exact location. No preload, just drop it. 3, 2, 1, go. It's not bad, decent amount of pickup. And 8.24 seconds. Now, recently I tested the 2026 Subaru Outback. That's the all-new, more SUV-like Outback, and it got a surprisingly close number. I think it was 8.21. Basically, they perform the same. So if you're thinking about one versus the other and your 0 to 60 really matters, it's a toss-up. Now on the road, this does have a dual pinion steering rack and it feels pretty good. It's heavily weighted and I really like the feel of the steering wheel. It's quite nice. Visibility is pretty good. I even get this digital rear view mirror up here for if my interior is all loaded up, I can still look out the back. Like the Subaru Outback, this also has a CVT transmission. That means it doesn't have real gears, but it will emulate them. Like here, it's shifting kind of. And it's not bad sounding and it works pretty well. I can of course also manually override it by going into manual mode. Now I can use the paddle shifters to emulate. Now it is kind of funny because of course a CVT doesn't really need gears and it runs most optimally when you don't use fake gears. So this is the sound. See, what's the sound? That's the sound of inefficiency. I'm curious, I was in tarmac mode. If I'm in normal mode like I am now, if I full throttle it, will it still fake gear shifts? Yeah, it still will. Okay. That's funny. That's a under wide open throttle. So the other drive mode we have here is Eco, and that of course will kind of, mute the throttle pedal. It kind of takes the edge off of all of the interactions with the vehicle so that you're getting optimal MPGs. Because obviously dropping a hammer on the throttle all the time, that is going to suck a lot of gas. So Eco kind of deadens the throttle a little bit, so you're more conservative in the way you drive. Personally, I don't see any point in an Eco mode. Just drive more calmly. It'll do the same thing. Now it's also interesting here, if I'm in normal mode, I'm just kind of cruising here at about 1500 RPM. But if I go over to tarmac, it then puts me more into the engine's sweet spot at about 3000 RPM. This is actually kind of fun to drive. I mean, it's no Evo, but oh man. I really hope my editor doesn't pull out of the woodwork that first video I shot with the Evo, and geez, what was that? It's 2006, 2008, somewhere around there. It was one of the very first videos that we shot specifically for YouTube. This car has a single sole purpose, and that's to get you around the corner as quickly as possible. You buy this car for what you feel. Feel through the steering wheel, gas pedal, throttle, stick shift, the 6-speed with a meaty handle. I mean, this car is all about driving. The equipment was not very good. Our skills were even worse. But, we got better. At least, I'd like to think I did. The SAWC all-wheel drive system, super all-wheel control, is just kind of a blanket term for what Mitsubishi puts in their vehicles. It's also kind of like Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive that encompasses not just their STI when that was in production, but also, their mainstream Crosstrek Wilderness. Very different systems. This one, SAWC, is more about using computers to channel that yaw control data and the steering inputs to give you an optimal driving experience. Now, with the Evo 8 through 10, that normally meant a helical limited slip differential in the front, a variable differential in the middle, and some other LSD in the back. And that was an incredible setup. It was also loud, and it was very purpose-built. The system in this vehicle is more about driving comfort and safety with a little bit of fun sprinkled in. What are they going to do with a helical front differential? That's ridiculous. With the all-wheel drive system in this vehicle, they've simplified it so it's less expensive, but it also is fairly capable, or at least that's the intent. We'll find out when we take this off-road later in the video. This does, of course, have adaptive cruise control. Let's go ahead and give that a set. So I just hit the little green button there. It goes green up there with painted lines. And now this is a hands-on system, of course. I'm going to take my hands off just so we can demonstrate how it works. It's a little drifty. It's going to handle the corner up here. Let's see. Okay, hands on the wheel. There we go. Yeah, it's a little ping-pongy when things get a little difficult for it. But, the intent here is to take work off of your arms on long-distance trips, and I think this will probably be fine. It's also, of course, an adaptive system, so it will match the speed of the vehicle in front of me if the vehicle is going slower than myself. So, there we go. On the road, this thing is fine. I would be happy to do a road trip with this thing across many states, I think, because the seats are actually quite comfortable, and they're both heated and cooled at this trim level. Plus, of course, we get 3-zone climate, which is actually quite nice for the class. I even get set seat positions here too, which is cool. Oh, and one thing, I'm not sure if you noticed here, I'm going to come up to this intersection, I'm going to stop, and maybe you can tell me if you can see what this vehicle does not have, and many will think that's a good thing. Come to a complete stop. The motor is still going. That's right. This does not have auto start stop, so you never have to turn it off. From the driver's seat, this vehicle has a lot of good stuff going for it. But how about the rest of it? Let's take a look. In the back, the cargo area maxes out at 64.3 cubic feet. That's with all the seats folded flat. Now that's not a lot of room for a vehicle of this size, but this one has an ace up its sleeve. Yes, they managed to fit a third row into this small vehicle. Am I getting back there? No, I am not. So back here we do get a subwoofer with the killer Yamaha setup. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. I also get some easy pulls to lower the seats. Big question, can I sleep in it? It's a very firm floor. It's completely flat. I got lots of light from the sunroof here, which is nice. And I even have a little accessory light right there, which is nicely placed. I would say, yeah, I'm 6'1" and this is no problem. And then if I want to tailgate, I got coverage here from this lid, and I even have lighting up there, which is nice. And then there's a slope here so I can sit comfortably. It's actually a really nice little tailgating setup. Oh, I also get a 12-volt power socket back here. Now under the floor here, we don't get a spare tire. Instead, we get a fix-a-flat kit. Right. Let's just do that one. So in the second row here, we can adjust the tilt of the seat backs, but we have to do it before we get in. Once I'm in, yeah, that's not too bad. Let's slide it back. Okay, that's maximum leg length. So I am a little tight up here. I have lots of legroom though. This is where I would be seated if I were driving. I'm 6'1", legs and torso proportionate. I get the sunscreens there. We have 3 stages of heat on the seats back here, which is nice. I get my own independent climate controls. I get vents. Over here, I have a fold down armrest if I can do it right. It's actually kind of comfortable. It also has integrated cup holders. That back. And then, yeah, this is actually pretty nice. Got little pockets for stuff. I have the Yamaha sound system, a couple speakers back here, which is really cool. And then I also have really nice materials. So overall, not bad, just a little shy on the headroom. Seats are very comfortable, and we also have like this extra plush quilting on them, which is quite nice. It is leather. We also have these extra inserts with the quilted padding as well. As for the rest, yeah, this is a really plush looking interior. It's not exactly to my taste. I don't go for the whole quilted look. And quilting with carbon is kind of that's a bold move. Steering wheel is wrapped in leather. It feels really nice. It does have a steering wheel warmer too. Now we do get paddle shifters back here that does control the continuously variable transmission. It will emulate an 8-speed automatic, although it's obviously a CVT. We do get lots of controls here. We have, of course, a digital gauge cluster, and I can control what the interface looks like with the little buttons up here. I can also switch between 2 overall designs. Personally, I like the traditional design. I just think it looks better. And on the right, we have the adaptive cruise control stuff. All pretty straightforward. How's the steering wheel doing? Ooh. It's heating up all the way around. Full heat. That's nice. The software here on their infotainment system, it isn't bad. It's a little slow and it's a little fuzzy. It's not a super sharp display, which I'm kind of getting, used to in modern cars here, but it's okay. It's not bad. It provides maps. It has iPhone integration with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless connectivity, and then we can also listen to XM satellite radio or put in memory sticks down there. Now they did include for us a Yamaha demo, and it's actually quite good. This stereo system is excellent. I wish more manufacturers would provide demos that really highlight the features of it, and this one is actually a really good system. It is the premium version of the Yamaha system they offer here. It has 12 speakers, it has 2 amps, and it sounds pretty much amazing. But that's one of those things that you have to experience in person. Me putting loud music on in this video doesn't really do anything for you, but trust me, the audio system is quite good here. We do get a digital rear view mirror. Down here we have the controller for the automatic transmission, and then below that we have the fun stuff. This is the dial that controls all of our drive modes, and we have a lot to go from here. We have Eco, Normal, Tarmac, those are the street going ones, and then we have 3 off-road ones, well, 2.5. We have gravel, we have mud, and then we also have a snow setting. Basically what most of these will do is control how much wheel spin is allowed with the vehicle, how much yaw is allowed with the vehicle, and also how much it locks up that center transfer clutch, sending power to the back. Now let's turn our attention to the Super All-Wheel Control all-wheel drive system. This is a system that, at least by name, goes back to the original Evo 8 that was sold in the US in the early 2000s. But this isn't quite the same system. Like most manufacturers, Mitsubishi uses one name to cover a blanket of different types of all-wheel drive systems. Compared to the original Evo 8 setup, this is much simpler and cheaper to produce. It is a multi-plate center clutch with brake vectoring on all four corners to help shift power around the system. It does use computers to sense the steering and yaw angles, and it responds by locking up the center clutch as necessary, as well as applying brakes to individual wheels to improve handling. Mitsubishi has a long storied history in rally sports, so let's start this off with a quick little gravel test. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to gravel, unavailable. It told me something was unavailable on my display. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was the mode. No, it's the safety sensors, which is fine. Those should be turned off, but I'm in a mode like that. Okay, well, we're just gonna go down here. I just wanna see if I can toss this sideways. Oh, that's a little harsh. 20-inch wheels, not great for that. Oh, it doesn't really wanna get sideways at all. No, it's very conservative. They say that you can get more lateral slide in gravel mode, but it's not very much, if anything. Now we're gonna head over to the Fun Forest and start our off-road tests. Right. So this vehicle does have some cool features going for it. First off, we do have several off-road modes, gravel, snow, and mud. Okay, snow isn't technically off-road, but it's kind of in the same family. I'm going to go ahead and start with the gravel mode and see how that does, and then as we escalate the tests, we'll move up to mud mode if needs be. Now there is a camera, a full surround view camera actually here, which gives me a front view and a full surround view when I'm in drive. So let's see what this can do. Now it has 8.3 inches of ground clearance. This is our easy test, but we just want to see, I want to turn off that hold to cancel parking sensors. There we go, canceling parking sensors. There we go, I think they're canceled now. Anyway, we have 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which should be plenty to get through this particular part of the course. There we go, up and in, no problem. I'm gonna ease down here. Now the whole objective of this test isn't to see if we can get through the course. Obviously we can do that. It's to test the vehicle and see how good the all-wheel drive system shifts power around the system. So we're in gravel mode right now. Not getting a lot of power shift there though. That was pretty subtle. Let's go ahead and switch over to snow mode and see if that improves the situation at all. It's gonna slowly go. Lift a wheel, a little extra throttle, see what it does. Ooh, it's shifting that power around. I can actually feel it now. Now snow mode is way more aggressive than gravel mode was. Interesting. I suspect gravel mode is probably more like a rally style mode, so it allows for a little bit more yaw, though not quite a lot of it. But it doesn't give that really aggressive wheel braking like we're getting with snow mode, which is interesting. And just lift hand throttle, let it work it out. I'm seeing the little traction light flash down there. Can it lift itself up? Adding a little more throttle, it works it out, shifts the power around, and boom, we are through. Let's go on to the next test. See how this does. Whee! Okay, next I think we're gonna go ahead and give this a try on the ridge trail and see if we can get up the climb here. Might be a little difficult because that brake vectoring was not very severe. It was pretty chill actually, and that's not what you want in a brake vectoring system. So let me show you what's so complicated about this particular trail. This right here, it's a root that sticks out, and you got to get the vehicle up and over it. Plus, of course, this is pretty loose because it is a fairly new trail. So it's pretty soft and it's easy to churn up the dirt. So let's see how this does. Because this is fairly soft dirt, I know we're gonna have to churn the wheels a little bit so it'll clear the lugs. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the mud setting. And that's basically it. 8.3 inches of ground clearance. I don't know what the approach angle is. Hopefully it's good enough. So first we're just gonna try to walk up slowly and see what it does. If we need to charge it a little bit more, we'll do that when needed. Oh. There we go. Oh, it was doing great until it wasn't. So the Honda CR-V had real issues with this. The Subaru Outback, the 2026, got up it pretty easily. Yeah, this one's having issues. And both of those, well, the CR-V actually had mild all-terrain tires. The Subaru Outback, however, had full-on street tires. There we go, come on, little momentum. You got this? Oh man, we were just hanging up. Use a little rub and bump. Oh, I think we're rubbing the underside on the right. Yeah, we are. Ooh, it's starting to sound not great. Let's take a look. I can't. I think what we're doing is we are digging in, which is not good. Let's rewind. Slowly, let's go all the way back down and we'll reset, see what we got going on here. Because I was definitely hearing that dragging on the inside. Huh. Oh, it was just the undercarriage that was bumping. Okay, we're gonna do it again, and this time I'm gonna try to have to use a little momentum to get over that root. It clearly cannot do it with power alone. Little momentum over, ooh, don't wanna collapse. See, that's the, oh, we are grinding that underside on this breakover. Yeah, that's it. That's it, we're done. This has no underbody protection, and in fact, it has a few things kind of hanging down under there. So I do not want to break stuff off because we are really rubbing the belly as we're going over that breakover. So, can't do it. On to the next test. First, let's take a quick look on the outside of the vehicle, make sure nothing got too crunched. Okay, tires look good. Front bumper looks good. Yeah, oh, that undercarriage hangs down really far. Yeah, just look how much that undercarriage hangs. That's quite a lot, actually. So that's an issue. So it couldn't complete the last test. Hopefully it'll do better on this one. This is our Mogul course, which basically is a slight incline with side-to-side drops. That'll remove traction off individual wheels, which will really force the braking systems to kick in and to move the vehicle forward, because it'll apply brakes to the wheels that are spinning, thereby pushing power to the wheels with grip. Now we're currently in mud mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep it in that mode right now. That should allow for a lot of spin, but it should also have fairly aggressive brake vectoring. Let's see what it does. Oh, I can turn on the camera here. Let's do that. We're definitely gonna listen for scraping because, oh yeah, that's really aggressive. There we go. It's funny, it feels aggressive, but it wasn't good enough to get up over our previous test. Kind of weird. Okay, lifting up those tires, you can see articulation or lack thereof. These unibodies just don't have really good articulation. The throttle in, see what it can do. Shift us forward. Yep, there we go. Ooh, wow. It really jolted me forward. The problem with that is you then compress when you hit the brake, when you hit the dampers, which can cause the underbody to kind of go crunch, which is what we had previous there. Let's go ahead and just keep this in. And on we go. Now we got sand slide, which is kind of a more complicated version of the same test. The road surface here is pretty moist. It's not wet, but it definitely has moisture in the soil, so I expect that we'll kind of slide laterally as we climb here. Yep. Also, all-season tires. Come on, get me through, get me through. Man, it struggles. Let's see how it lifts us right here. We're gonna go into a hole. Just gonna lift that rear tire. Oop, there we go. I can hear it clicking. There we go. It's trying. There we go. I'm a little concerned because it just wants to jolt forward so much. I don't want to, bang something on the front. Okay. So that is the new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this interior. It's quite nice. You also get a lot for the money. Now, don't worry about the $45,000 asking price on this one particular, because it does contain a lot of options that you do not need. Padded doors, don't really need that. Metal sills, don't really need that. And that does inflate this price. So you can probably get, something that performs just as well for close to $40,000 with still a lot of these amenities, like 90% of what you see here. So how did it drive? On the road, it was nice, it was confident, it actually drove pretty well. It's as quick as you would expect a 2.5 liter to be. On the trail, not so great. It did fine on the easy stuff and on simple slopes, but once we actually got into a steeper slope, A, it had trouble getting up over the root, but then B, once it didn't have the breakover because it actually hangs down much lower in the middle than you might expect. It actually doesn't have a very long wheelbase. It has a smaller wheelbase than the Subaru Outback does. But for some reason, we get a lot of crunch zone under here, so I don't know where they're measuring that 8.3 inches from, because I don't think it's in the middle. So that's my look. What do you think? Is this one you would get, or would you get something else? Post a comment below. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. I hope you enjoy them, and we'll see you again right here on the next one.